Hello everyone, my name is Lami Tinam Gidado. Welcome to the Play to Heal podcast, where we talk about the therapeutic powers of play and the journey of a play therapist in the playroom. So join us as we engage in reflective and playful conversations and explore how we can heal through play across the lifespan. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you.
Hi everyone, you're welcome to another episode of the Play to Heal podcast with Mrs. Lami Gidado. Yes, today we'll be talking about why do schools need play therapists. Yeah, and today we have Mrs. Lami Gidado herself to talk to us about these things because, who else? You're welcome, ma.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'd just like to start by asking who a play therapist is.
Okay, thank you. A play therapist is someone who uses the therapeutic powers of play to help children who are dealing with emotional, behavioral, mental illnesses, or learning disabilities. And what a play therapist does is that we help children to help themselves.
Wow.
And so as we go on, I'll explain what that means. But basically, it's about helping the children learn on their own how they can help themselves. Because we realize that way it's more like a skill that they have learned rather than being told what to do.
Yes.
Yes. So in play therapy, play therapists understand that children may not necessarily have the right words to use to express themselves, or even to say that I have this problem. They may not even be aware of it, but through play therapy, we are able to understand what children are going through. We're able to observe them. We're able to assess them through their play, and also to help them heal or to learn how to cope with their difficulties as they play.
Wow. So today we're talking about play therapists in schools. So, with what you've explained, I would like to ask why play therapists in schools?
Okay. Why play therapists in schools? Just like we mentioned about the fact that, children do not really have what it takes to express themselves,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because play therapists use the language of children.
Yes.
That's why you need them in schools.
Wow.
Which is play,
yes.
Right? Children understand. Nobody needs to teach a child how to play. They can, they play anyhow that they want to.
Yes.
Play therapists are skilled to be able to understand children's play because they use it to express themselves. They use it to tell us what may be going on with them. Through play, I can tell if a child has maybe like autistic tendencies.
Okay.
Yes. Through play, I can tell if a child has maybe dealing with an emotional problem. So play therapists can help schools to alleviate these problems.
Yeah.
So that children can gain from learning.
Yes.
They can learn. They can reach their full potentials if they have the opportunity to have play therapy.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you very much. So today we have like a 6-part question. Yeah, range of 6 questions. So of course, it's going to be interactive as usual. So I'll try to chip in where I can. So the first question is, how can integrating play therapists in schools enhance students' emotional well-being and provide safe space for them to express and process their feelings through play?
Okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, in play therapy, the first and most important thing is the therapists themselves.
Okay.
So the relationship with the therapist helps the child to feel safe.
Wow.
So a play therapist is skilled to accept the child as they are. They are permitted to be themselves.
Yes.
Not like in a classroom setting, there's routine, there's all of that. And
Yes.
so you're expected to conform to the classroom.
Yes.
And sometimes children with emotional problems can be forgotten or even lost in the classroom because the teacher is overwhelmed with other issues that they have to deal with.
Yes.
That dealing with children's emotional problems may not
be
a priority for them. But if a child is able to come for play therapy sessions, the therapist's role is to first develop a therapeutic relationship with the child so that they feel themselves to be able to express their emotions and show or talk about how they're feeling.
Wow.
And so the play therapist gives an opportunity for the child to be able to deal with those feelings.
Wow. So I think one thing that you just spoke about now that really got my attention is the fact that in play therapy or having a play therapist in a school is, one of the most important step to connecting with the children is the play therapist building relationship first of all with the children. Yes. Yeah.
So, the first few sessions with a child, the play therapist is actually building relationship.
Wow.
If you think about our culture, a child is not really, they're not really allowed to be themselves. They're made to be who we want them to be.
Yeah.
But in the play therapy room, they can be themselves. They can show their bad side and be accepted because the play therapist is non-judgmental.
Yeah.
They're accepted. They can just be themselves, and that way they can deal with emotions that they've been hiding or even emotions that they have no control over. They can, it gives them the opportunity to deal with those emotions.
Wow. Thank you very much, ma'am. So, moving on to the next one, is it possible for us to explore the correlation between positive mental states achieved through play therapy and improved academic performance? So when a child has probably been able to, gain mastery over his feelings and all of that. So is it possible for us to say, okay, if we're able to make a breakthrough with a child in a play therapy room, that's in a school setting, then we're able to say that, okay, at the end of the day, this child will be able to do well academically?
That one is very easy for me to say because we have statistics to prove it.
Okay.
We have statistics to prove it. The way play therapy works, even here in Nigeria, what we do is that we have a record of all the children that we have seen in play therapy.
Okay.
What were their presenting conditions before they came for play therapy? And what is their condition by the time they finish play therapy?
Yes.
So, averagely, a play therapist will have about 30 sessions with a child.
Okay.
Averagely. Some may not need up to 30, but many need more than 30. And so we look at, okay, when the child started, when the child was brought to play therapy, what was the issue? Especially, your question had to do with mental issues.
Yeah.
What was the mental issue? And then, where is the child at the time that we finish play therapy? And I can tell you, I would say maybe like 95%.
Okay.
That when those problems are dealt with,
yes,
academic performance increases.
Wow.
Think about it as an adult. What's your productivity like if you have like a mental problem?
That day will be like an unproductive day because your head is just all around the place. Okay, if it was an emotional issue you're dealing with, you're trying to think, okay, how can I solve this? Okay, then worry begins to set in, and then before you know, you're just all over the place.
Yeah.
And there's nothing specific that you're able to measure to say, okay, I was able to do this today.
Right. So again, I'm all about empathizing with the child. Because if we're able to do that, then we understand that children definitely go through mental problems.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's from home, sometimes it's from school, and they're not able to express it.
Yes.
So if we're able to remove those issues, then we will have better productivity, just like you said, for adults.
Yeah.
If the mental issue is dealt with, the academic performance will increase.
Yeah, then productivity increase. Yeah, so there was something you mentioned about the first sessions with a child is trying to build relationship. So I don't know whether you can demystify at this point the notion that people have that, okay, you saw my child today, so what is wrong with my child?
Yes.
This kind of, okay, after the first therapy session, they're already like, okay, what and what did you notice? What, they're already expecting answers. Yes.
Okay, so as a play therapist, one of the things we do is you don't make promises to parents.
Yes.
Parents and teachers. You can't make promises to them. Sometimes parents want to find out, so how many sessions does my child need? And I say to them, I don't know. And I really don't. It depends on what happens, how long it may take for the child to be fine. So coming up straight up from the beginning, just to set expectations is important. So also, I also usually want parents to know that, the first few sessions, this is what is happening. We're going to build relationships. Remember that children, especially in Africa, children are to be, we say that children are to be seen and not heard, right? That's what is happening to them. So when children come for play therapy, initially, they don't know what to do. Even with all the toys, they will touch it, and they will drop it. Because they don't know what to do. They're waiting for me, the adult, to tell them what to do.
Is it because that's what they are used to?
That's what they're used to.
Oh, wow.
So they're looking at me even suspiciously.
Hoping that they don't get spanked.
Exactly. They don't get into trouble.
Wow.
And I'm there saying to them that, you can do what almost anything that you want to do in the playroom. And they're not sure if to trust me, because adults, unfortunately, we don't do things in a way that children can trust us.
Yes.
You can tell a child now that, okay, when you're done with your work, I will allow you to play in this place. And then maybe something small happens. You're not playing there again. That kind of thing.
You made a promise and you broke it because of...
Yes. And also, the way we react to them sometimes spontaneously. They don't know what to expect from us, and so they can't trust us.
Wow.
So for me to help a child, I have to build trust.
Yes.
They should feel very comfortable with me and feel safe.
Yes.
For them to be able to begin to heal.
Wow. Wow. I'm sitting down here, I'm learning some things, like no jokes. I am. So the third question would be on, let's say, early intervention. Yes. So is it possible for you to discuss the role of play therapists in early identification and intervention for emotional and behavioral issues? How can timely support positively impact long-term mental health outcomes in children?
Okay, so play therapy can be considered an assessment of its own.
Okay.
It's an assessment. So we might have children and, they were referred to play therapy and someone says, I don't even know what is wrong with this child. But through play therapy, we're able to begin to find out what is going on with the child. That's early intervention.
Yes.
We're finding out what is going on with the child. And the beauty of play therapy is that it's not just assessment, but it's also intervention.
Yes.
Because as I'm finding out what is going on, I'm providing the
solutions. Yes.
We have a child that I think their issues are home. The child had very low self-esteem. A 3-year-old, 4-year-old, low self-esteem, issues at home, doesn't speak at all, and all of that. With play therapy, what it does is that, in spite of the issues that are going on, I've learned coping mechanisms.
Okay.
I've learned how to survive. I've learned how to take care of myself. And so that child has learned those skills now because of play therapy. And in fact, the teacher's report recently is that he has become so confident. He's like the leader in the class.
Wow.
That, the others are listening to him. He's the, like it's such a turnaround. It's like,
wow.
It's not the same child, So it was through play therapy, because he was first of all referred because the teacher was like, I don't know what's going on with this child. I've tried and tried. He's not learning. He's not, just complaints and all of that. So we had play therapy, and, sometimes we'd have reviews with the parents. But along the way, we realized that there are issues at home. And, that was the assessment. And then the intervention is the fact that we helped him to get to where he is now. Where his self-esteem and self-confidence is up there.
Wow. I'm like, in my head, there's a question that is rolling, but I think I think I should ask it at the end. I think I should ask it at the end. Hopefully, I won't forget. I won't forget. Okay, so is it possible for you to highlight the importance of play in fostering social skills?
Definitely.
Yes. Because we're talking about of course, the importance of having a play therapist in a school setting. Yes.
In schools.
So,
social skills. Children need to develop a lot of social skills.
Yes.
For them to even, be able to cope in the classroom.
Yes.
So in play therapy, I like to give examples with the children that I've had.
Success rate or
yes. So my mind is thinking about children like that.
Yes.
Play therapy helps children to develop those skills because, for example, in play therapy, they can be doing role play. And understanding how to interact with other people. I mean, even the example of the boy I gave earlier on, he learned a lot of social skills as well. And that's the beauty of play therapy, that a child might be referred for one thing, but they learn other things.
Wow.
And so let me just use that same child as an example. Part of what he learned was also social skills. Like I mentioned, the interactions.
Yes.
Because not moving from not able to express himself, now he's able to express himself very well. He's able to understand his position in the midst of other people.
Yes.
Those are social skills that he has acquired.
Yes.
So play therapy is an opportunity for children to
learn.
To learn social skills as well.
Yeah.
Because in play therapy, we use a variety of creative arts media. Okay. So whether it is arts or, clay or sand, music, movement, all of those kind of things. So part of those social skills is self-acceptance, self-esteem, moving from aggression to assertiveness.
Okay. Wow.
So all of those things children learn through play therapy.
Wow. So there was something you mentioned when, I think, at the second question, or the second answer to the second question, something about coping mechanism. So I would just want to ask a question around that. So how can play therapy equip students with effective coping mechanisms for stress, anxiety, and other challenges?
Yes. Every time you ask a question, there are sessions and children that pop into mind.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's, like I mentioned earlier, that we learn coping mechanisms because the situation may not have changed.
Okay.
But we need to learn how to cope with it. So, for example, a child with learning disabilities, right? They need to learn coping mechanisms because that learning disability is not going anywhere.
Yes.
But how do they cope with it?
Yes.
So I remember a child that I had with ADHD. The child had to learn how to cope with, just how to handle himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because that, usually learning disabilities will come with other comorbidities.
Yes.
And sometimes it's anxiety or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it reduced his anxiety. But he also learned how to behave in the midst of other people. Like he learned how to self-regulate and control himself. Another child I think about is a child who was facing abuse at home. And on his own, through play therapy, he started to tell me how he's going to start behaving when he faces that abuse.
Oh.
And I can't take him out of his home. So he's still in that situation, but I can teach him how to cope with this situation.
Yes.
And that's what he started doing, and it's working out for him. So yes, in play therapy, children are beginning to come to a place where they understand that, okay, I can't change the situation and I can't change the people in my life, but I can change the way I respond to it. And so that's the opportunity they have to do that. Wow. I think also of a child whose parents were going through a really rough patch.
Okay.
So when she comes to the play therapy room, she will role play the situation.
Wow.
Every time she will come and role play the situation, she will role play what the situation was at that time. But with time, after many sessions, she started role playing what she prefers.
Wow. Over what was happening.
And her position in the whole thing. So she started to change the way she was seeing the situation.
Wow.
And in that way, it gives room for learning coping mechanisms for dealing with all of those things.
Wow. That's if you don't have a play therapist in your school, please please contact us now. Okay. So at this point, I think I've come to my last question, except any other question arises from this particular one. So can you discuss the role of play therapists in creating an inclusive and supportive learning environment? How can their presence contribute to a school culture that values and prioritizes the mental and emotional well-being of all students? And also in cases of having children with special needs, so how can a play therapist be integrated into a school system that can help cater for all of that?
Okay, so play therapists are usually advocates. Okay. And the reason is because we give a lot of feedback. We do a lot of reviews. So as I'm seeing a child in play therapy, one of my responsibilities is to give feedback to the school and also suggestions. So I don't just go to schools and then leave the children like that after sessions. I give feedback to the school to say that, okay, this is why this child is dealing with this. Can you do this and this and this and this? So play therapists sort of sensitize the school and they speak for those children.
Yes.
But the other thing is that because of play therapy, children learn to advocate for themselves.
Wow.
To ask for what they need, and to also just say, this is not working out for me. So play therapists empower the children so that they can speak up for themselves.
Yes.
And ask for their needs. So that's one way that we help to ensure that this inclusive environment, that every child is catered for. The presence of a play therapist means that I'm saying that every child matters.
Yes.
Because play therapy is a one-on-one, it's
one-on-one thing,
intervention. But I'm saying that every child matters.
Yes.
So all the children that may have learning disabilities or special needs or whatever it is, with a play therapist in the school, you have an inclusive school.
Yes.
You are catering for the needs of not just children with learning disabilities, but with behavioral problems, saying to them that they matter.
Yes.
And working to reduce that problem that the child
It's facing.
is facing.
Wow. Wow. So on the top of my head, I'm just thinking, what do you think might be a school's management, should I say, like, what do you think might make a school management to say, do I think that we need a play therapist, or, or what myth do you think a school management might have regarding having a play therapist in their school?
It's it would be unfortunate if school management does not understand holistic development,
Yes.
and does not understand how everyone matters.
Yes.
Every child matters, and not giving up on
Any of them.
on any child.
Yes.
So that would be unfortunate, because school management should understand that no child should be left behind.
Yes.
That is American policy or something.
Okay.
No child should be left behind. So every single child matters.
Yes.
I've heard schools that say, well, maybe it's just 1% that has a problem, so what's the point? But interestingly, I challenged the school. I said, allow me to come to the school to do an assessment. There's a simple assessment that I can do, and it will show you the number of children who are dealing with one thing or the other. For learning disabilities, for example, we already know that there are statistics that show that about maybe like 1 in 10 children have a learning disability. For psychosocial issues is 1 in 5.
Wow.
Which means that in your classroom, if you have 20 children, you probably have 4 that are going through all kinds of things.
Yes.
Yes. And we also live in a very complex society.
Yes.
Where people are coming from homes that are maybe divorced and just facing all kinds of abuse.
Yes.
So all of those. So you definitely have children that need play therapy.
Yes.
So it is the openness of the management. If they are open, then they can decide to have a play therapist. But if they're close-minded and they think that they have everything that it takes, then they won't think that they need a play therapist.
Wow.
And play therapists are very known for multidisciplinary approaches and partnership. Because I know that as a play therapist, I don't know everything. I can refer the child elsewhere and say that the child needs maybe like a nutritionist, or the child needs a neurologist or something like that. Yes, so the management needs to be open-minded.
Yeah, because, one of the reasons I asked this question was that I was in school one day and a child just came and said, okay, it was time for therapy. So it was the way the child normalized, okay, I'm going for therapy. It's just like, okay, I'm going for maybe a mathematics session or something like that.
Yes.
Because some people just have some closed biases, like, okay, why, the word, when people in our society hear the word therapy, you think that, this person have gone, like,
and it's okay,
But is it really okay?
Yes.
Wow.
Or did he just have to conform to what you had to say?
Going back to that thing that you said about adults and children in our society, having to see an adult always telling you what to do.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, okay, so I don't get into more trouble.
Exactly. I'll just do what they're asking me to do. Yes.
Wow.
Parents and teachers would be, I think they will faint if they know some of the things that I hear in play therapy.
Yeah.
Because the children feel safe to talk to me about those things. But children go through all kinds of horrible situations that they need therapy.
Wow. You said something which I feel like is true. Like, I feel like play therapy is actually fun. It's fun.
It's fun because, and that is why it works.
Yes.
So, play therapy uses metaphors.
Yes.
So, for example, if I tell you, oh, let's go and swim. And I'm using that because I'm also speaking to myself. Swimming is something that I enjoy doing. And I go with a friend of mine. And sometimes, even when I'm dealing with different situations, but I go and swim,
Mm-hmm.
I feel better. In fact, physically, even physical illness, I feel better,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I'm having fun, but I'm
But
also healing,
yes,
right? So you can imagine just the fact that I can say to you, "Oh, come and color."
yes,
You think that I'm just telling you to color,
color.
but for me, I know what it's doing to your emotions.
Wow.
So yes,
Mm.
it's fun.
Wow. So last one, this is what I actually wanted to ask that time. So I felt like it's best for last.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what, or for someone who is a teacher or a caregiver or part of the management of the school,
Mm-hmm.
and is thinking, okay, how can we train someone from our school or get involved ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
So how just help us out.
Okay. Well, this is an easy one that even you can answer, isn't it?
Yes, I can,
Well,
but I want you to hear it in Mrs. Gilado's voice.
so we train people to become play therapists.
Yes.
We started in 2022, and we currently have 18 people who are qualifying to become play therapists here in Nigeria.
Wow.
Which is the first program in Nigeria. And people will actually get real certification that will help them to practice play therapy. So I would encourage schools to send at least one person to qualify in play therapy. Yes. So you have your own in-house play therapist, right? Yes. That's just it. So if you want to, or if you're interested in finding out more, you can reach us through our website.
Yes.
Right? You can reach us through our website. You can send us a message through the website or email.
Yes.
And someone will reach out to you to tell you the process. It takes at least 2 years to qualify as a child-centered play therapist in Nigeria. And the beauty of it is that the training is just 5 days in person, and then 3 days later on, and then every other thing is online.
Yes.
And then you get to practice in your own school with a supervisor directing you on how to do it.
Wow.
But I think it's a good investment for schools and teachers, someone to want to qualify.
Yes.
All over the world, it's mostly psychologists who qualify as play therapists, but also educators. So, we would encourage that schools begin to think about sending at least one person.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. So you've heard. You snooze, you lose. Oh, thank you very much, Ma, for this amazing session. So I would advise you to stay tuned for more. Trust me, there's more coming that will blow your mind. So I'm going to include the website in the description in case you want to sign up or make more inquiries of how someone from your school or you yourself can become a certified child-centered play therapist. Yeah. So thank you very much. Dado, do you want to say any other thing?
Well, I would just encourage school management and teachers to go and do some more research on play therapy.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it's going to increase your school's academic, the performance.
Yeah.
You'll be able to record
high academic
performances
in your children.
Yes. Because they are happier.
Yes.
If they're happier, they're going to be they're going to do better.
Yes.
So it's an encouragement. In fact, school owners themselves can qualify.
Yes.
I have in the new cohort that is coming up, we have a school owner who wants to become certified.
Wow. Oh, thank you very much, Ma.
Thank you.
Well, there are no more questions.
Thank
Okay.
you.
See you next time.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Play to Heal podcast with Lami Gidado, brought to you by the Association of Play Therapy. We hope you found inspiration, and valuable insights into the transformative power of play. Remember, healing begins with a playful heart. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe and feel free to share the joy of play with others. Until next time, embrace the healing journey through the language of play.